The system's rigged against you. Your voice doesn't matter. The system's rigged against you. Your voice doesn't matter. These are arguments I'm sure to get with this video. There are even some anarcho-capitalists who believe that they shouldn't vote because it will give legitimacy to an immoral system. My question is, what are you doing instead? Americans, especially the youth, seem to think that if change isn't easy and instantaneous, then there's no point in trying. The big changes we are seeing and will continue to see in the marriage equality area was 30 years in the making, probably longer. 30 years of protests, messaging, organizing, voting, getting others out there to vote, making political contacts, and community outreach. Sadly, all of the things we find boring. For the first time ever, the Democratic Party has made it part of their platform. 5 to 10 years ago, that seemed impossible, but people still worked with little hope of change to try and make it happen. This movement also took thousands of people. No one person could have made this happen. Research shows that 20% of the population has to accept a concept before it starts to have any social or cultural teeth. Because at that point, most people know someone who thinks or is defined as such, and it's harder to hate, distort, or vilify that group. Movies have created a hero complex where we all want to change the world all by ourselves. And if we can't do that and get the ego boost out of it, then screw it. Networking is too much work and requires me to put up with people in person that don't 100% agree with me. If it can't be done in a montage, then it's impossible. So, how much impact does an hour of protesting, canvassing, and community outreach make? Not much, really. By comparison to the time put in, voting produces way more results. Voting is the easiest and laziest activity that one can do for the amount of impact to effect ratio, and so many people can't even be bothered to do that, then bitch when change never happens. How much change does an hour to vote create? Not much either. You're a tiny person in a sea of opinions. It can feel helpless. The candidate may just agree with you slightly more than the other guy. The change may just feel superficial, but guess what? Change is slow, and enough superficial changes over a long period of time can have big impacts. That's exactly how natural selection works. In the short term, it seems superficial and trivial, but over a long period of time, it can be a stark change, creating an entirely different species from that path it could have taken. 2010 is a perfect example of what not voting does over a long term. Estimates show that only 1/3 of the Democrats turned out to vote because Obama hadn't given them everything they wanted and somehow expected him to be a miracle-working, pure and innocent messiah. Since the average voter wasn't paying attention, however, because they didn't go out and vote, the Republicans got most of the redistricting rights, the ability to block anything in Congress, and the ability to attempt to purge voters and reduce voting abilities in urban areas. You may think that voting doesn't do anything, but if you don't see what it does when you don't vote, then you're ignorant. Depending on who gets voted as president will decide the next 3 justices that will replace the people who are stepping down on the Supreme Court in the next 4 years. As Plato said, the price of apathy about public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Whether you believe in voting or not, you must at least get involved with organizations. Fairvote.org is an organization that is working to try and change the ballots to instant runoff voting in which you rank candidates, and if your candidate isn't high enough, your second choice gets your vote. This will make an even bigger impact on ensuring that voting can change things, as it will allow third parties and independents to have a chance of actually winning. Voting is truly the least you should be doing. Strategic organizing with either a party or nonprofit organization is the only other use of your time that potentially has a bigger payoff for the amount of time you put in. Getting others out to vote is potentially even a larger swath of votes toward your candidate. Collaborating to better spread the message of your cause that hits more people is essential. These groups also can help in lobbying of Congress and letting them know about an issue or message they may be unaware of. Even if you won't vote because you're just against the government, you must be involved with some organization, or you're pretty much just complaining to yourself or your echo chamber on the internet. While voting seems like it's a drop in the bucket, for the amount of effort you put into it has a very big impact by compared to any other method of trying to change the world. We can't do this by ourselves. We live in a world surrounded by and built by other people. Or you can complain to your friends or your internet viewers how the government sucks and never try and actually change things, ensuring nothing ever changes. If you're not registered to vote, please do so. There is an easy link to get registered in the bottom bar. Thank you.